What's going on, guys? It's Hunter, and in this video I'm going to be going over some of the different brokerage options for beginners as well as my personal favorite. If you don't know what a brokerage account, this is basically the platform that allows you to buy and sell stocks. So anybody over the age of 18 can open an account. It just takes a couple minutes, and then after a few days, once your account is approved, you can link your bank account and begin trading right away. These are completely free to join, and once your account's approved, you can easily access their platforms via their websites, or you can even go to the App Store and download their apps if you prefer to use your mobile device. These days, there are a ton of brokerage accounts that have a bunch of different layouts and different sets of tools that make them slightly different from each other. Now, if you're just getting started, I'm sure you've heard about some of these beginner-friendly platforms like Robinhood. And the reason Robinhood is used by so many new investors is because it is probably the most user-friendly platform on the market, and their app is very well designed, making it easy to navigate and understand for anybody. So let's take a look. If you open the Robinhood app, you can see that their layout is very visually appealing, and they make it easy to just go up to the search bar, search for different stocks, and then follow them throughout the day with their different sets of charts. You can also buy shares right within the app by just clicking buy, typing in the amount of shares you want to purchase, and then swiping up. And the same goes for options trading. All you have to do is click trade, select options, and then you can see they did a pretty good job of taking a rather confusing subject and making it pretty easy to follow. They have calls and puts along with their different expirations listed on top, and then right in front of you, you have the options chain where you can see all the different contracts. However, even though you can see this platform is convenient and very beginner friendly, there are some things I don't like about it. For those of you who don't know, the main reason people started using Robinhood or switched over is because they were the first platform to offer zero commission trading. What this means is that you could buy and sell stocks without paying the typical transaction fee that other brokerages would charge you. Generally, fees were around $6, which means every time you bought a stock, you'd have to pay $6, and every time you sold a stock, you'd have to pay $6. So if you're just getting started and your account only has a couple $100s in it, obviously this doesn't make any sense because you'd have to make $12 a trade just to break even. So this zero commission trading was huge and not only attracted new investors, but pretty much everyone, because now you're able to buy and sell the same stocks, but you didn't have to pay $6 every time you made a trade. And this completely changed the game. Now all these bigger, more advanced brokerages were forced to go to zero commission trading just to compete with Robinhood. Now pretty much every single platform offers zero commission trading, which is why I personally recommend trading with one of these more advanced brokerages like TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. And this is because by using one of these, you'll have access to better charts, more tools for technical analysis, stock screeners, and overall just a more secure platform. Even though these might be a little more difficult to understand in the beginning, you're probably going to want to switch over to one of these platforms eventually, so you might as well put in the extra time right away, as it'll pay off in the long run. Alright, now I'm going to jump into my screen and show you guys the platform that I personally use, along with some of the different technical indicators and tools that help me trade and analyze a bunch of different stocks. Alright guys, what you're looking at right now is TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform, and this is what I use for trading and technical analysis, and personally I think it's probably one of the best out there. Now, I'm sure this looks very confusing right off the bat as there's just a ton going on this main screen, but it's actually a lot easier to use than you might think. And what we're looking at right now is the 1-day, 1-minute chart on Apple stock. So what this means is that we can see where this stock trades every minute of the day. And you can very easily adjust this time frame by just going up to this button right here. And then you can select the past couple days, weeks, months, or even the past few years. And these different time frames can definitely be helpful when trying to identify overall direction and if you're just looking to pick up on different patterns over the past couple months. So this is the 180-day or 6-month chart on Apple. And this is what a lot of people like to use to identify potential swing trades. So, what they'll look for is a company that's clearly been in a bullish trend that has recently pulled back from their highs. And then what they can look for is to try to identify different support levels to try to capitalize on a reversal. But that's for another video. For now, let's just stick to this 1-day, 1-minute chart. So now I'll show you guys some of the basic things you can do on this main screen with your drawing tool. So the market just opened like an hour ago, and you can see the stock's movements are pretty clustered and it's kind of tough to see. So if you want to zoom in, all you have to do is click the screen and then drag over to the point you want to zoom in on. And once you're in here, you can also just use the tool to draw on the screen. So this is where a lot of people will draw out their different support and resistance levels just to give themselves a better visual. So all you have to do this is click on the screen and then drag the line over to where you want it to end. Now, another really cool feature is that you can calculate the potential percentage gain or loss by just clicking down on the screen and dragging to different areas. So let's say you wanted to take a trade on Apple on a break above this resistance level, but you wanted to cut losses if it started to break down below the support and make new lows. You can very easily calculate that, hey, if I take this trade right here, I'm going to be willing to risk just around 0.68 to 0.7% of my money for this trade. So right off the bat, You've identified your risk tolerance and you know exactly how much you're willing to lose before you even take the trade. So those are just 3 basic functions of this drawing tool. Now let's go over some of these more in-depth indicators that you see on the screen. Now before I get into these different indicators, I want to make it clear that these are just indicators and they are never 100%. So just make sure you use them as a guide and just another tool in your decision-making process. So we'll start down here on this lower level where I have the RSI and the MACD. And essentially what these indicators are momentum indicators. So they can help give you a better idea if a stock is on the overbought side or on the oversold side. The way that you read these indicators is that when the RSI and the MACD become overextended on the top end, what that's signaling is that the stock might be overbought, so you're probably not getting the best deal. And the same thing goes for the downside. When you see them overextended below this level, that generally shows that the stock could be oversold and that it might be in the early stages of a reversal. And keep in mind, just because the RSI and the MACD break below these levels and start to show signs of a reversal, this doesn't mean it has to. It can stay below this level for a while. And when you compare it to the overall movement of a stock, it's not 100% accurate, but it's definitely helpful to have, and it can be a good tool to use in your decision-making process. Okay, so those are the 2 indicators down here. Now I'm going to show you some indicators you can actually add up on this main screen. And these are probably 2 of my favorite ones to use and stuff that I use every single day. So if you go up to this studies tab up here and click on it, all you have to do is add them on the left side. So I'm going to be adding the standard deviation channel and then the VWAP. And all you have to do is click apply and you can see they pop up on your screen. Now you can see with these indicators on the screen, it definitely gives you a better sense of overall direction, as without them, it was just extremely choppy and you couldn't really make much sense of it. So the first one here is made up of these 3 colored lines, which is the VWAP, which stands for volume weighted average price. And what this can do is give you a better sense of the overall strength of the stock. So when you see a stock trading in between this middle and top VWAP, that is generally a bullish signal. And then when you see it break below this middle VWAP and start to trade in between this middle and bottom, that's generally a bearish signal. And the way you can use this to trade is, say you're using this as a support level and you get in right along this break here. If you're looking for a spot to either book some gains or when you think it should be a good time to maybe sell some of your position, once it reaches this top VWAP or this resistance level, it could be a good idea to book some gains, as based off previous patterns, it could pull back again. And the same thing goes if it breaks below your support level. If it breaks below this, you can quickly cut your losses and move on. And the other indicator here, which is probably my favorite to use, is the standard deviation channel, which is made up of these 3 lines here. So it starts off in the middle, you have the trend line, and then the top and bottom are placed 2 standard deviations away from each other. Now, according to statistical theory, 95% of all price points fall within 2 standard deviations, so it can definitely be good to be aware and have this channel on your screen. So for example, if you saw a stock break above or break below this standard deviation, statistically speaking, there's a good chance that the stock will begin to reverse and revert back into this channel. So Apple hasn't really done that at all today. It hasn't really moved outside of this trend line much, but let's go and take a look at Marriott. So if you're looking at Marriott, for example, which had an aggressive sell-off right at the open, if you're not using any technical indicators, it can be tough to determine when the stock is going to start to consolidate and then reverse. But if you're using the standard deviation as a guide, you can say, well, hey, technically speaking, there's probably a pretty good chance it begins to consolidate and pull back into this channel. Now let's look at one where the stock actually broke out above this top level and became overextended right at the open. So if you look at Simply Foods right at the open, it had a big push up and broke out above this channel and then slowly began to pull back down. And what this tells you is 2 things. One, if you are looking to buy the stock, it's probably not a good idea to buy it right in the open after this push, as there's a pretty good chance it's probably going to end up pulling back. And 2, if you actually own this stock, this could be a good point to book some gains. As the same thing, it'll probably just become overextended and start to pull back. So, when you're trading in markets with extreme volatility and when stocks just bounce around like this, especially right at the open when there's a ton of volume, these indicators can be used as a guide, even to just keep your emotion in check and to make sure you don't chase these highs or lows when the stock becomes overextended. So there's a quick overview of some of the technical indicators that I use on this platform. But when it comes down to actually trading, which buying and selling stocks, you can do that here as well. So if we take Tesla, for example, if you wanted to buy 1 share of Tesla, all you would have to do is double tap on the screen, go over to buy, and then down in the corner, click edit. And then right here, you can select buy, select how many shares you want to purchase at the price. So if you put a limit order, you can put what price you want to order them at. Then all you have to do is click confirm and send, and it executes right away. So say you ended up buying a share. To manage that position and to look just to see the P&L on the day, You can click Active Trader over in this corner. Then it'll come up as how many shares you have, show your average price, and then show your P&L. Then if you wanted to sell that share, you could do the same thing, just double tap on the screen, go down to sell, and then this is actually really cool where they give you the option to either sell a certain amount of shares, or you could just click this button and it goes over to percent. So you could sell 100%, 50%, 75%, and it just makes it really easy to just do it very quickly, especially if you're day trading. And say you're trying to trade or just watch multiple stocks at once. So I'll pull down my watch list here. You can actually connect your watch list to this main screen so that you can quickly flip back and forth between different stocks. So say you were trading Tesla and Nautilus, for example, and you wanted to focus on Tesla, but you also wanted to stay updated with Nautilus and where the price is. If you wanted to just double tap on the screen, you can actually set a series of alerts by just going to create alert, and then you can put the price where you want to be notified either at or above. So say you wanted to be notified if the stock started to sell off. You could put this price at 21.42, select at or below, and then click create. So once the stock breaks below this level, it'll send off a notification up to your corner so that you can see it and then quickly flip back and forth between these different positions. All right, guys, so there's a quick little overview of Thinkorswim. Obviously, there's a lot that I didn't touch on, so if you want me to make a full video just going over this platform, showing you everything that I use, make sure to leave a like on this video. And like I said before, I'm going to continue posting on this channel to resemble a stock market course. So if you're a beginner and you don't want to waste a ton of money on some random course online, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting videos here every single week. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.